Hey everyone, Mark Danger here. This is a special week because it's back to school! Yes! Lucky for you, I've boiled all the wisdom I've collected down to 5 tips to having a great year at school this year. Tip number 5, do your homework. Yeah, I know, about half of the people watching this video just stopped watching, but that's okay because I already got the ad revenue from their views. For real though, this year, when you get assignments, just do them. Don't just put them off, because it'll just pile up and pile up and pile up, and then you'll be under a mountain. And being under a mountain isn't very fun, unless you're a dwarf. Unless you dig too deep. Tip number 4. Don't do all of your homework. Excuse me, Mark? What was I just saying before? Okay, let me clarify. Homework is important. Grades can be very useful, but they're not the most important thing in the world. Good or bad grades do not make you a good or bad person. I hope you get good grades, especially if you need them for like a scholarship or a program or to make your parents happy or something. And I also hope you don't let your grades define you and you can spend time on other things that are important as well, like relationships. Tip number 3, that didn't work. Tip number 3, pick a day and bring a really elaborate lunch. In high school one day, I brought a loaf of bread, a toaster, and beautiful ripe tomatoes from my family's garden. And I made toasted tomato sandwiches right there in the cafeteria from scratch. It was delicious and a nice change of pace. Tip number 2, bring a snack on your birthday. Who doesn't like a good snack? And what better occasion for a good snack than the anniversary of someone's birth, namely yours. I know, as you get older, it gets less and less common for people to bring snacks on their birthday to school. You might be thinking, oh man, maybe I'm too cool to bring a snack to school. You're not. You know why? There's always Timbits. Oh, hey guys, here's my birthday, so you know, I just got Timbits for everyone. There you go. See? Anyone can bring Timbits. What my mom used to do when I would have birthdays in elementary school, and my brothers and sisters, is she would send Jell-O Jigglers along with us. They're easy, they're mess-free, they're fun to eat, and they're totally delicious. I guess fun to eat and totally delicious are pretty much the same thing. At least there's overlap between those two ideas. You could probably make a Venn diagram of things that are fun to eat and things that are totally delicious. Since my parents are living in California right now, they have access to all kinds of crazy and cool things out there, like Star Wars Jell-O Jiggler molds. They brought them to me when they visited one time. See, there's Yoda, Chewbacca, R2-D2. Why don't we just make some right now? To make Jell-O Jigglers, pretty much all you need is Jell-O and water, and a mold. The recipe says to first add 2/3 cup of boiling water, and then you just crack open the Jell-O. Pour in the crystals. Look at that. It's red like blood. Which I know because I cut my finger at work last night. Look at that. Yeah, using sharp knives, chopping at Sobeys. Hazards of the job. Now we just have to stir it for 3 minutes. When you're making Jell-O Jigglers, do you ever cheat and stir it for like 30 seconds? I don't. That's dumb. You stir it for the whole thing. Who knows what could happen if you stir it for less than 3 minutes? Probably break your refrigerator. Ruin your career. Lose any hope of ever finding love. All done. Before we pour the Jell-O into the molds, it's important that we put non-stick cooking spray into the molds. But not too much, because then they get all oily. You just rub the pan all in there. I wonder how Darth Vader would feel if he knew that he'd been turned into a Jell-O mold. He'd probably be too busy to care. In goes the Jell-O, it's exciting. Now, if this was lava, we would be making rock jigglers, which would be ironic because they wouldn't jiggle. They'd just be rocks. Now that they're done, we put them in the fridge and wait for like a million years. When the Jell-O Jigglers are done, we need to remove them, but you can't just do it by shaking. So we take a knife and we run it along the outside of each of the individual shapes. Get out! R2, there we go. And there we have it. All your favorite Star Wars characters have been frozen in time as Jell-O Jigglers. You didn't even need to be a Jedi to do that. You don't even need to be Force sensitive. I'm a Rancor. I'd rather kiss a Wookiee. That can be arranged. Oh, it's so good. Beep, beep, whoop, beep, beep, whoop, beep. Hey, isn't that the droid I'm looking for? Get it? Thank you, Jacqueline Lamb, for giving me the idea of showing off my new Jiggler molds. Tip number 1. Do something that you want to do. I know that sounds like a no-brainer. But seriously, pick something that you actually want to do and do it. In the first half of my high school career, I was part of the rowing team. I was rowing in grade 9, I rowed in grade 10, and honestly, I didn't like rowing. I liked people seeing me as a rower and thinking, whoa, that guy must work like really hard and stuff, which I did. But when it came to races, my stomach would get all in like knots, and I hated it, and I remember rowing towards the starting line and praying for Jesus to come back so that I wouldn't have to actually go through with the race. I just didn't like it that much. Some people get amped off that kind of physical exertion. I'm more of a mid-range physical exertion sort of person. And in grade 11, at the beginning of the year, I went to the first rowers meeting and thought, oh man, okay, here's another year of rowing coming up. And you know what I did? I went and auditioned for the play instead. And I got in. It was Peter Pan. I got to be a pirate. My name was Starkey. I acted alongside my brother who played Smee, the other pirate. We were a hilarious duo. And it was super fun. I had an awesome year being part of the play, wearing costumes, acting, going to practices, hanging with the cast. And that's because I chose something that I wanted to do, and I did it. So that's my last tip. Pick something that you want to do and do it. I know it's hard because everyone's watching and you want to be cool, but whatever, just do it, man. So those are my 5 back to school tips. Take them or leave them. But what you should not leave is St. Catherine's on the 25th because I'm playing a show! At Heritage Christian Bookstore, me and Origin and Peter Hanna are gonna be rocking some mics. Whoa, a hip hop show at a bookstore? How's that gonna work? I'll tell you how it's gonna work. It's gonna be mega dope. I'll include a link to the Facebook event below. It's got all the details there. That's all, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
I've got time and I've got life and more than I need to survive. I don't want to let it go to waste.